there comes a time every year where we get to a point where we start to just shuffle the jigsaw pieces. We shuffle all of these guns in and out and around, because at this stage, many of the guys we're bringing in are pretty much like for like. This year it's happening very early because our team values are so high compared to last year, especially, that we've got a team full of maybe 16 out and out guns already. And you've just got those couple of fringe guys you're probably going to keep around. And then you guys that are your backups in your emergencies, like your Lawsons, your Fainus, maybe your Riley Smiths, that type of stuff. But especially if you're low trades, it's time to start thinking about who is worth bringing in to be in your final team. Or if you're bringing in somebody to play a role, when is their time up? What is their purpose? So I'm going to show my trades for the week, and I think I'm probably going to stick to them. I planned this out last week. It fits. It brings in 5 guns for 7 trades and 2 cash outs. That seems really great. But it does make my team a little bit same. Doesn't give me a lot of flexibility except to straight swap guns. So I honestly am somewhat considering avoiding Couchman and going like maybe a Tallis Duncan route, so that I can do a few things with centres moving forwards. I might be able to get Karaz in round 17 or so. I might be able to get a really big wing fullback in a couple of weeks' time, because I've got Haas, I've got May still, I've got Collar, I've got Fanil Blake, I've got 4 really big middles, and Aitken and Kai Pearce-Paul. I don't absolutely need to buy Couchman. And like I said earlier in the season, if you're buying like 5, 6, 7, even 8 of a particular position because they're the best scoring position, that's great. That's a really good strategy to a point. And that point comes where you start to force everybody else in your team into your emergencies and out of your scorers. So let's just say that I do buy Couchman. This is probably what my team looks like moving forwards. Okay, this looks really strong. This looks really great. Well, Riley Smith's in my starters. Oh, that looks a bit disgusting. Let's sell Cleary. Let's sell Cleary and let's get Isaiah Yeo or Tarpanay back in eventually in my final team. Boom. I now have a full bench and I'm never playing Damien Cook. That might work. That might be great. But then I have to get Cleary back in my team, and the guy I've replaced him with isn't scoring as well as Cleary. The option is to buy Cleary back in rounds probably 19, 20. But you should be looking to replace the guys in your team who are probably the weakest first. If I cop a 30 from Nwanganitawaze in a few rounds through this period, instead of having a 55 from Karaz, that lost 20 points is probably worth more and hurts me more than losing a couple of points from Riley Smith to a Tarpanay, for example, which might be 10 points. It starts to really add up, and you've got to think strategically where you're actually buying and where you're actually playing. So this is the ideal, almost most expensive team. That looks almost unattainable, but a lot of teams have got 14.2 million at the moment. You don't need the perfect team. It also gives you no flexibility. If you take a few of these guys away, all of a sudden you start to get really close. You replace Joe with AFB, boom, there's 50k gone. You replace Preston with KPP, boom. You sell Cleary to bring in Tarpanay. You have a Nawa instead of a Farnworth. That starts to get a lot more manageable. That starts to get a lot closer, especially if these guys in a month are that price and you sell one of them back to another guy to upgrade to the guy that you wanted to, for example. Like, there will be a little bit more cash movement. It's not going to be forced. You can't force it. It will just naturally, slowly happen if you've got the guys that can potentially make money. But it's really useful in getting those final guys into your team if the player that you're replacing isn't going to hurt you that much. So if I have, instead of uh, Tarpanay, if I have Duncan and he's scoring 45 and he's priced at 450, I think, I can do that with my team value. And the whole rest of this team is almost maximum. Like, that's scarily close to what my final team would be. And I got so many trades in the bank. It's not, because injuries happen, form swings happen. But 14 plus million, if you're there, is plenty at this time of year. And you just have to keep not ignoring it, but you don't have to keep feeding it like early in the year. So be happy with your Adam Fanua Blakes. Be happy with your Damien Cooks. Even your Nwangani Dwases for now. But just remember that the guys who aren't full keepers will become keepers eventually. Don't just keep buying mid after mid after mid after mid because mid score more points than centers. No, look to upgrade the guys who are actually going to improve your team the most. So for me, it will probably be Mark in a couple of weeks to Karaz, or maybe even a Lomax or something, but probably Karaz. So that's what I want to discuss at the moment. How many of these guys are going to be in my final team if there's no injuries? Yes, 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 yes. So it's like 12 of these starting 13. Definitely keepers in my final team. 13, 14, 15, maybe 16. That's not bad. Like, along with Riley Smith and Nawa to loop as my 17th and Savala to being sold to somebody later, I don't really need to go out and push my luck. So, yeah, I can get a Duncan, but it also feels like I'm just going back to a White situation when I already sold him to make sure that I'm going to get Couchman, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to leave it like that. Don't think that you have to absolutely play catch up to all of these teams that are higher team value than you, because, yeah, they will have an extra guy. But if you've got like 16 guns and can loop a 17th score in, you're probably not far behind. And with a couple of matchups, a couple of good scores in a matchup, you can take on those guys. If your team value is good enough, it only helps past a certain point. If a team value of 14 will probably beat a team value of 13 and a half, not relatively easily, but without crazy amount of trouble. A team value of 15 million with the perfect team probably doesn't have that much advantage over a 14.5 million team by the end of the year. Just because if you buy all the maximum expensive guys, you can only buy about 18 or 19, and you're not playing these guys. You're not playing them, and they don't count. So the team that's got one less of those and still isn't playing them is still scoring this game the same. So yeah, don't think that it's the end of the world if you're on 13.9 million and your mate's on 14.3, because by making a little bit more money slowly over this period, by grand final time, by end of the year time, it's not really going to matter. Not going to matter so much in this year. Okay, so count your keepers, count how many trades you have left, and figure out, do I need to bring in a Duncan? Do I need to bring in a Harry Hayes? Do I need to bring in a Kurt Donahue to boost my team value a little bit while getting comparable scores? These are probably the last sort of mid-range guys you'll want to buy for the year until you get to your final team, those kind of guys. And for me, I don't think I need any. Cook is kind of potentially that guy. Didn't get off to a good start though. And Lawson and Fainu will probably make a bit of money anyway, especially Fainu. So that's fantasy for now. Captain Kolomatangi, to be honest, I really just think he's head and shoulders above everyone this week for captaincy options. Who would I pick as second best? Maybe let's look at the matchups. Maybe you could go Jaden Campbell versus the Sea Eagles. Maybe you could go Teddy against the Knights, but that's really scary considering his floor is not as good as some of these other guys. Yeah, I think that's probably about it. Hey, so keep an eye out, but Colo for the win. And Colo for the win in Supercoach as well. Scored back-to-back tons. He's great. I'm vice captaining Teddy into him. And I'm having a great time in Supercoach. A little bit better than in Fantasy and way better than a Dream Team. My rank in Dream Team is worse than my rank in Supercoach. And it's about 100 times less players playing in Dream Team. So I hear Jamie is up to 11th now. So cheer him on. But yeah, I'm down about 280th. In Supercoach, though, that 16 million plus mark is probably your 14 million mark in fantasy. For me, I'm looking to bring in Donahue for Sandon and probably Carraz for Hero this week. I don't massively need to do it because I've got 14, 15 players already. One of them was Sandon, but and that'll probably be my two hookers for the year unless Grant comes out and starts really killing it. Um, hooker's even worse in Supercoach than it is in Fantasy because there's no Aaron Clark to save us. But yeah, again here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I've got 18 guys who I'm probably happy to keep as a final team gun for the whole year. That's pretty close to where I want to be for the whole year. I don't need to make any more money. I just need to put that money where it's best used into my team. So over the next few weeks, depending on matchups, Hosking, Savala, Toya probably help turn into those other guys. And then Jerome Hughes goes back to Cleary eventually. So plenty of stuff going on there. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'd say the best buys for Supercoach this week are probably Carraz, given his schedule. And the fact we've got a few wing fullback problems with Tamale, Lehigh Hopewade, Christian Tuipulotu, who are one of the unlucky few who's got him in. Toya owners and Iro owners, there's so many pathways to get to a Kiraz or even an Isaako. If you don't have such a high team value, I think Isaako is a really good play this week. Let's have a look at him and why he's interesting as well. So made a bit of money. He's not quite as appealing as he was last week, but I mean, he hadn't scored 130 last week. Break even -6. Let's have a look at his season stats. So since he scored that first big 100, he's got a lot of little middling scores, but apart from this 40 and this 47, you're not upset with all of those. And then he has the ability to go big because when the Dolphins fire, he kicks their goals. He kicks a lot of their goals and he scores tries. He actually hasn't scored a ton of tries this year until, well, the last 2 weeks. And look at these goal points. That means his base is incredible as for an outside back. 4 points a goal in Supercoach means that combined with sort of your 20, 30 points of running a game, you got a 50 base without doing that much. So score a try on that, it becomes an 80. Score 2 tries, and all of a sudden you've got a ton. He's playing the Cows this week that are depleted. He's playing. Who's he playing in the near future? I like his schedule. I just want to double check. Yeah. Cows into Knights, into Bunnies, into Sharks, into Cows again. So over this next period, he plays at least 3 or 4 matches that will be really good potential for him to score tries and goals. And if you don't have the money to, or don't have the trades to sort of run around and make a few to get Carraz, I really do like Isaako this week. So have a look at him. Jaden Campbell, it's annoying that he couldn't do much against the Broncos. The Broncos did well, but I see a lot of people switching Munster to him this week. He's cheaper now, and Munster's sort of peaked. Munster's definitely peaked after that bit, and Storm have a little bit rougher schedule, I think. And I don't see the real benefit in selling Munster personally, because if we look at the top ranked 5/8, I mean, the only other guy who's sort of competing at the moment is, well, Ezra Man. I wouldn't count him personally. Luke Metcalf and Burton, except for the fact that he just got named 18th man for Origin. So, yeah, Dearden's okay. But yeah, it's really just Metcalf at the moment that I'm saying would probably be challenging for that seriously. Yeah, where's Money's? There he is. So yeah, Dearden, Origin, Metcalf, bad schedule. I think it's just these two guys really. And if you have Metcalf, I wouldn't necessarily sell to the other. But yeah. So yeah. That'll probably do me for this week, guys. I don't usually run on for Supercoach that much. Yeah. Just another shout out. Keep going in the private group. I'm leading that at the moment, but there's a few good blokes making a charge, and I'm up into the top 4 in the Podmasters League. So get behind Jamie. He's starting to make a move or two coming up shortly. And yeah, I'm having a pretty decent time, but man, there's some good players in here. So we will see how that goes. So until next week, guys, plan trades well. Consider who is going to be in your final team, and consider how many trades you need to get there.